Hello everyone, welcome back to another Wano deck deep dive. As today we're gonna cover a division that finally got good again, the 35th US. As that is our National Guard division, and National Guard just got so much better with the latest patch, both due to some small direct buffs and especially because of the change to the reservist trait. So let's jump right in and let's talk about it when we get there. Starting in the logistics tab here with the 35th, which was maybe the weakest NATO division until last patch. It should be now somewhere in the middle. I don't think it's a top tier division, don't get me wrong, but it should be a good bit better because it is now a more efficient division and a lot easier to play as well. So start in logistics step where we have our 3 availability CV and 2 supply cards. You could go for another supply card relatively easily here, but I couldn't really find a way to get that in currently. And you need to use super much on the ground. You need these here for resupplying your infantry, RCLs, that we will come to in a second. They are really good for that. But outside of that, you don't need all that much supply necessarily. So yeah, CV and the supply. Then we have 3 CVs more here, 6 CVs in total in this deck. So on the medium side, not amazing, but it is fine. And then we have the National Guard CV here. It has a law. It's 6 hit points, 50 points. And it has Reservist as well. Reservist now doesn't have the rate of fire and aim time modifier anymore. It before gave you plus 20% reload time and plus 15% aim time, I believe it was. So your those stats really reduce your DPS. Now it only gives you minus 5% accuracy, which is still a deficit in DPS, and you have higher stress, so you will get less efficient over time in combat. But your first couple of shots are not hindered. Your aim time is the same as other units. You start firing at the same time based on your veterancy level, and the National Guard can come at 1 vet. So that is all pretty helpful here to increase the DPS by a lot, with the aim time modifier also meaning that your tanks shoot at the same time as enemy tanks of the same veterancy and so on. Like they're the first shot advantage that other units had against your reservist tanks is gone, and that really helps out the National Guard. And yeah, we have National Guard engineers with M67s, those M67 recoilless rifles with the 1025 meter range, really good to help out with HE damage, start firing at the enemy, with a kill off light vehicles as well, and you get even more of them on your military police and your National Guard rifles. So a lot of these mid-range fire support tools that can help out dealing with enemy infantry and light vehicles. And yeah, you really can get around with these. And then we also have National Guard ITOs now, which yeah, with the changes are decently worthwhile as well. You get National Guard toes, which are just pretty cheap. But I usually take the ITO here. Mistake was made there. National Guard Rifle Dragon, which has the Dragon 2. Dragon 1 wouldn't be helpful. Dragon 2 is pretty solid, especially with 1 vet. They still come with 50% accuracy, 55% accuracy. The debuff, unfortunately, is still not shown on the stats cards. But yeah, 55% accuracy on the Dragon 2 with 18 damage. That's pretty good. On 1 vet here, National Guard Rifle Law. So yeah, decent number of infantry, not all that much, but the hit points are good with 9 on these units here. And yeah, the military patrol here comes with the Humvee. You could now maybe consider taking that out. The military police Humvee, though, is still pretty helpful for the tanks and so on to get the extra accuracy. But you could now play it without this as well, and instead take another National Guard rifle unit just instead. But I feel like it's still worthwhile going with some military police around your National Guard units. Artillery tab is also a lot better now, as the reload time and aim time there was massive of a debuff. Now you kind of just get a discount MR10 because the accuracy doesn't affect the radius that they shoot in, so these MR10s are a lot better now as well. And that's a big buff to the artillery tab. The mortar now a good bit better as well, setting up the smoke screens. So MR10s here really hitting home now. And then we have the tank tab, where we have cost-efficient tanks now, with the M60A1s, and the M60A3 also went down to 115 points. This is now pretty cheap tank for 2275 meter range. 15 pen obviously not great, but 12 frontal armor and so on, all quite nice. So yeah, you get a decent amount of tanks here. You get some ATGM tools as well with TOW 2s. All of these better as well with the aim time and so on. So yeah, this is now a cost efficient tab as well, especially as you can take them with one vet, and the aim time now meaning that the enemy doesn't shoot faster. And the M60A1, it's really competitive with the T55s, which is one of the best tanks out there right now. So this thing goes hard now. M60A1 is in a really hot spot. 17 pen on 1925 meter range tank. That's quite hot. And yeah, they brawl nicely with Leos, with the T55s and so on. As you have to be careful with the stress and disengage maybe a bit quicker, but you have the smoke and so on, so you can do that as well. Really, a solid tank here, the M60A1 Rise. Recon tab, you get some more M60A1s with forward deployment. Always has been great. More base dragons here with the scouts, but still can be helpful reaching out a bit, hitting enemies in surprising moments. The 5 points here compared to the law, I think, are worth it. And then we have the Civi, which for 30 points nowadays is a good bit cheaper than back in the day. So the second trade here can come in decently. It's still not the most impactful trade, but you get it, you can use it. You get a sniper rifle on these guys as well. If you don't want to use it at all, just go for the National Guard Scouts. They are cheaper, and they can come in the ACAF, which got cheaper as well. That would be an option too. I still like the CV, but that's an option here. And then the cheaper helicopter now as well, OH-58. So nice buff there. 30 points now. Cheap recon helicopter for the opener. Reservist doesn't really matter. Like, this thing dies before it gets stressed in 99% of the cases anyways. So yeah, Reservist doesn't really matter, and you can get around with that. AA Duster got improved anti-aircraft range and better aim time now. So this thing is good but better against infantry. Has a chance of getting impactful against planes at all, which it didn't have beforehand. It's still not accurate or anything, so it's still not amazing there, but it can do the job. National Guard Stingers got better with the reload time and so on as well. And the Stinger Basic in general, a decent AA weapon, though this one also got increased in price to help out with the efficiency. And then the Roland got better as well. Reload time, aim time, big buffs here to this. That's why I use them instead of the Ihawks now. Yep, the super fast moving Rolands are really helpful for the stack, pushing on in the early game against helicopters and just helping out with the air. And I don't feel like you need Ihawks that badly in this deck. They aren't mobile and they can be hit by artillery quite easily, and you have enough air on your own that you don't need to get so much extra air dominance from the AA on the ground. Like, getting overrun in the air here with this deck is highly unlikely if you already have the Rolands online, so that the expensive AA tapped cards here don't need to be used, and you can rather use the Duster that can help out with helicopters on the front line and also help out with infantry killing power, where your lack of IFVs comes into play. Helicopters are decent as well. The aim time changes here help out big time as well. Though, they still can get stunned here, the Cobras and so on, but 3 availability with the Hydro Rockets plays nicely now. And this is a decent helicopter tab. Nothing special, but the Cobras are decent helicopters, and the 3 availability on this one is quite helpful. You could even consider upvetting it, though I'm not too sure if that's really worth it here. And then we have the air tab, where you get real important anti-tank, because yes, the tanks are good against infantry, yes, the tanks are good against other light tanks, but if the enemy is a bit heavier, you have to kind of rely on the air tab with this deck still. And that's why we have 2 AT planes in here, and an LGB that can come in need as well. And the Phantom AT, really cheap for 4 Mavericks, doesn't have air-to-air missiles, and only has 20 ECM. And then we have the F-16C that can help out a bit against helicopters, has 30 ECM, and can just be an all-rounder plane as well, helping with the air dominance. 2 F-16C AA cards, They are shotgun fighters, but they are pretty good with the 6 missiles and the great AM-9Ms. And then we have a Wild Weasel Seed, which can be helpful to allow your F-16s to get through. The strikes are not great, but you get 5 of them. And the AM-9J can sometimes hit a recon helicopter, sometimes help out stunning down an enemy plane and so on. Like, can be handy. It's not great, but it's a cheap seaplane, and that is the key part. It's a seaplane. It's cheap. You can get it to get the game a bit different. That's where the points go for the logistics tab. If you would want to cut something, I would cut the LGB most likely, or cut the F-16 CAT and put in another supply card. But I like it more like that. As I said, I don't think you are such a logistics supply guzzler that you desperately need a third supply card. So I'd rather use it in the air here. And yeah, that's the deck. Strengths. It has cheap armored units. Like the cheap spam that you can bring around is pretty strong. It's surprising for an American deck. You don't get it with any other American decks. It gets good air support and fire support in general, like the artillery tab is good as well. And it gets 4 deploy tanks as well, so that's helpful there as well. So the weaknesses are, it doesn't have any high ground AT. Like, you don't get TOTUs outside of 1 card here in the tank tab. You don't have any IVs, which is still a deficit. Yes, they got nerfed a bit, but they are still really helpful to have. And no real APC to speak of either. Like the M113s are not great. The National Guard ones, they don't have smoke, and they still cost 20 points, and they have still some debuffs. So yeah, they come around, but they are not good. And yeah, so the lack of IVs is still big. And yeah, I would say those are the 2 main things, and the lack of forward deploy infantry is the next one. Like, no special forces or anything like you get with 6 US or so that can forward deploy. Like, you get the nice tank, but the forward deploy infantry would be helpful, like something like Green Berets or the Navy SEALs. So yeah, this is 35th. Let me know down below what your experiences with it are so far, and yeah, we're gonna obviously go into it in the next game. So see you all there, guys. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.